In this lecture, we are going to answer the question, what is a risk assessment? We are going to define that term, and then we are going to look at the NIST Cybersecurity Framework, or CSF, version 2.0. This actually came up in a recent lecture when we were looking at the IAPP-specific security domains. And so we'll be able to compare and contrast the two frameworks. We are then going to look at the IAPP Privacy Program Operational Lifecycle. We're going to look at beginning an assessment and then useful organizations and resources. So what is a risk assessment? In short, a risk assessment is a systematic process by which an organization identifies, evaluates, and prioritizes threats and vulnerabilities to its information systems and data. So again, we defined risk management earlier. That's identifying and evaluating systems and threats in order to implement the appropriate controls. And we perform risk management through risk assessments. A popular cybersecurity framework that every cybersecurity professional is likely to know is the NIST Cybersecurity Framework. And this framework is created by the National Institute of Standards and Technology, again NIST. And version 2.0 of the framework includes 6 stages. These are identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. And throughout these 5 circular stages, we are always governing. And so governance is an ongoing process. For the CIPP exam, the only thing you need to know is just the steps. You don't need to know about what each step involves. In short, however, we are identifying our assets in order to protect them. We protect them continuously and detect for incidents. When there is an incident, we are going to respond and then recover from that incident. And again, we are governing the process throughout. Another life cycle that you need to be familiar with is the privacy operational life cycle. Now, this is specific to IAPP. And as a matter of fact, there's an entire certificate that is devoted to this. That is the CIPM, or Certified Information Privacy Manager certification. Again, also provided by IAPP. And I have a course on this that you can find at drdavidprivacy.com. There are 4 stages to this privacy operational lifecycle. They are assess, protect, sustain, and respond. This is a very similar formula to what we see with the NIST cybersecurity framework. Again, by assessing, we are identifying our data assets. We are then protecting them. We will sustain and improve our governance posture, and we will respond to incidents as they occur. So again, the underlying principles are virtually identical, as is the cycle. For the CIPP-E exam, this is all you should need to know. We will conclude this lecture by looking at how to begin a risk assessment, and then in the final slide coming up next, we will look at some different resources. There are really 2 steps to beginning an assessment. First is we need to identify and understand the data life cycle. And then second, we need to conduct data mapping and create a data inventory. If you look at the 2 different frameworks that we just looked at, the NIST Cybersecurity Framework and the Privacy Program Operational Lifecycle, both of those cycles begin with identifying and assessing our program's assets. What do we have? We need to know what we have so that we can protect it. And so again, identifying and understanding the data life cycle. This is one of our first steps. We want to understand the whole data life cycle from collection to destruction. And then we want to perform a data mapping and create a data inventory. This involves identifying, cataloging, and documenting how data flows through the organization. We want to determine who has access to our data, record why the data is collected and processed, document the legal justifications for collection and processing. We want to understand retention and disclosure, and access and security controls. In conclusion, these are some useful organizations and resources that can help you get started with risk assessments. These include the Cloud Security Alliance, cybersecurity directives, the e-privacy directive, the Information Security Forum, or ISF, the ISO 27000 series, the NIST directive, NIS, this is the cybersecurity legislation that we talked about earlier, the NIST framework, NIST here being National Institute of Standards and Technology, the Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard, or PCI DSS, and Payment Services Directive Number 2. In this lecture, we defined what a risk assessment is. This is a systematic process by which an organization identifies, evaluates, and prioritizes threats and vulnerabilities to its information systems and data. The 6 stages of the NIST Cybersecurity Framework version 2.0 are: identify, protect, detect, respond, recover, and govern. The privacy operational lifecycle is assess, protect, sustain, and respond. When beginning an assessment, we want to understand the data lifecycle. We then conduct data mapping and create a data inventory. And some useful organizations and resources include the e-privacy directive, the ISO 27000 series, the NIST directive, the NIST framework, and PCI DSS.